ladies and gentlemen. I am Mirth, and along with my group mates, we'll be discussing about the life during the Precambrian and Paleozoic period. First things first, do you know or do you have any idea on how Earth looked like in the early times? If no, then based on movies, it is depicted to have unfavorable atmospheric conditions and a lot of active volcanoes that erupt from time to time, which maintained a constant lava flow on the Earth's surface. Okay, let's talk about our learning competency. It's to describe general features of the history of life on Earth, including generally accepted dates and sequence of the geologic timescale and characteristics of major groups of organisms present during these time periods. Our learning objectives are to describe Earth's condition during the Precambrian and Paleozoic eras, to enumerate possible life forms present during the Precambrian and Paleozoic eras. So, the Precambrian era is the predated era prior to the emergence of life during the Cambrian period. Starting with the Precambrian period, the earliest known era in the Earth's history, we find the dawn of life as we know it. Evidence found in the Precambrian rocks provide us with clues about the first stirrings of life on our planet. It was during the later part of this era that the first multicellular organisms appeared and sexual reproduction began to take shape. As we move forward into the Paleozoic era, we witness a remarkable explosion of life, the Cambrian period. The first phase of the Paleozoic era was marked by an incredible diversification of organisms, a phenomenon that has been aptly named the Cambrian explosion. During this time, a variety of primitive animals, including sponges, began to evolve, setting the stage for the complex web of life as we see today. The Precambrian and Paleozoic periods were pivotal chapters in the story of life on Earth, marking the birth and subsequent diversification of life.
Paleozoic era is one of first Paleozoic era. Then during this time, there were 6 major continental landmasses. We have Gondwana, supercontinent of Africa, South America, Australia, Antarctica, and India subcontinent. So, at the start of this era, the world continent Pannotia was broken into pieces, leading to formation of Pangaea that makes Earth's continents connected once again. So, ang Pannotia daw is isa ka continent nga nabuak. So, ang pagbalik daw niya or pag-inconnect daw niya is naay different life forms nga na forma. So, ang different life forms nga na forma is mo to ang 6 periods. We have Cambrian, Ordovician, Silurian, Devonian, and Carboniferous, and Permian. So, pag first step daw, pag inconnect niya kay ang Cambrian. So, pagka nagkanam-anam siya o ka-inconnect pa dong sa pagbalik niya sa iyang partner nga nabuwag. So, ang pagbalik daw niya kay mo nang gitawag og Pangaea. So, these names were derived from original location when fossilized rocks and these ages were found.
Division of Paleozoic era. So the Paleozoic era has 6 periods, which is Cambrian, Ordovician, Silurian, Devonian, Carboniferous, and Permian. So these are the events of the Cambrian period. The Cambrian period marked a rapid diversification of life forms, known as the Cambrian explosion, during which most modern animal phyla appeared, including abundant groups like trilobites, brachiopods, and mollusks. Next is the Ordovician. During the Ordovician period, which followed the Cambrian, marine life continued to diversify, with the emergence of new groups of organisms such as corals and cephalopods. Land masses were relatively barren, and the oceans were teeming with life. The period also saw significant fluctuations in sea levels and the formation of extensive coral reefs. So next is the Silurian period. During the Silurian period, which followed the Ordovician, life in the oceans continued to evolve and diversify. With the emergence of jawed fish and the proliferation of marine invertebrates such as brachiopods and bivalves, land plants began to colonize terrestrial environments, marking the transition to life on land. The period also saw the formation of shallow seas and the development of coral reefs, contributing to the expansion. So, next is during the Devonian period. So, during the Devonian period, fish diversified, tetrapods emerged onto land. Plants colonized terrestrial environments and forests expanded, while insects evolved. During the Carboniferous period, extensive coal-forming forests flourished. Amphibians and early reptiles diversified and giant insects roamed the lush ecosystem. Last is the Permian. During the Permian period, reptiles became dominant on land. Mammal-like reptiles emerged, and the supercontinent Pangaea formed before the mass extinction event at the end of the period.
So, in the Precambrian era, there was a edificance appeared in the fossils record that was dated almost 600 million years ago. So, Edificarian is the uppermost division of the Proterozoic eon of a Precambrian time and latest of the three periods of the Neo-Proterozoic era that extend from approximately 635 million to 541 million years ago. One of the important edificants was the Dickinsonia, which resembles a ribbed dermat. So what is Dickinsonia? Dickinsonia is an early type of Precambrian life that were very different from the current organisms. They were considered to be one of the early forms of the multicellular organisms, and their bodies was shaped like a disc.
Now let us move on to the Paleozoic era, which is also known as the age of invertebrates, due to the presence of fossils of animals without backbones. On the other hand, it is also being said that vertebrates first appeared 525 million years ago during the Cambrian explosion. But many of us wonders, what is Cambrian explosion? So the life forms during the Precambrian and Paleozoic era includes trilobites, which means three lobes. These are extinct marine arthropods that are from the class of Trilobita, and the appearance of this fossil appears on the early Cambrian period, and this is also known as the group of arthropods. So first, the crinoids. Crinoids are the marine invertebrates. Echinoderms are marine vertebrates, but includes a spiky covering skins such as starfish or anything that have a spiky skin that lives underwater, as it is a marine invertebrates. And marine invertebrates are the ocean-living creatures without backbones. Now, let us go to the brachiopods. I'm not really sure how to read it, but yeah, we can see the spell and the spelling in people. Brachiopods or brachiopods are a phylum of Trochozoan that has hard valves or shells, just like, for example, in Visaya we call it Kinhason. Diba, we notice that it has a hard shells covering it. So that is an example of brachiopods. Now let's move on to the graptolites. So graptolites are a group of colonial animals that line in an interconnected system of tubes. Now, rugos. Let us move on to the rugos corals. They are also known as the tetracoralia or horn corals. Well, it is mostly seen on a deep oceans or deep waters. Okay, now let's move on to the next slide.
Let us move on to the Paleozoic era and the life forms that were living during this era. And so during the Paleozoic era, the primitive tetrapods emerged. And so what are tetrapods? Let me give you an example. A tetrapod is a four-limbed animal with a vertebrate. An example of a tetrapod is an acanthostega. An acanthostega used to live in the waters or oceans. So these are mammals that have a backbone or a vertebrate.
The Precambrian era has the three major subdivisions: Hadean, Archean, and Proterozoic. The Hadean eon represents Earth's earliest phase. It has harsh volcano activity, frequent meteor impacts, and the formation of the planet's initial crust. It is named after Hades, the Greek god of the underworld, symbolizing the harsh and not so livable condition during this era. And then the Archean eon follows the Hadean, marking the start of Earth's first continents, oceans, and atmosphere. It is hosting the earliest evidence of life on Earth, mostly consistent of microbial organisms. The Proterozoic eon, characterized by the further evolution of life forms and the emergence of more complex organisms. It takes a significant portion of Earth's history, and that includes important details such as oxygenation of the atmosphere and the formation of supercontinents. Today, it is known that life on Earth started during the early Archean, thus making fossilized organisms increase throughout the Precambrian time period. The Paleozoic is divided into 6 periods: the Cambrian, the Ordovician, Silurian, Devonian, Carboniferous, and Permian. These names were derived from original location where fossilized rocks of these ages were found.
I'm Ellison from Torres, and I will try to sum it up the period of the Precambrian and the Paleozoic. So during this period, single-cell and multicellular organisms started to emerge. The emergence of multicellular organisms marked a significant milestone in the evolution of life on Earth, paving the way for the diverse array of complex life forms we see today. These early multicellular organisms, known as Ediacarans, provide valuable insights into the transition from simple to more complex life forms in ancient oceans of our planet. Next is the most advanced form of animals, such as vertebrates or animals with backbones, first appeared in 525 million years ago during the Cambrian explosion. This event, known as the Cambrian explosion, marked a rapid diversification of life forms and the emergence of complex anatomical structures in the fossil record. It also represented a pivotal moment in the evolutionary history of animals, leading to the development of diverse body plans and ecological niches that laid the foundation for the modern animal kingdom. So during the Cambrian period, most phyla of modern times were present, but trilobites, brachiopods, mollusks, Hyolithids, and archaeocyatids were among the most abundant. These groups of organisms thrived in the ancient oceans, exhibiting a wide range of morphological diversity and ecological adaptation. Trilobites in particular were highly successful and dominant marine arthropods, serving as important index fossils for dating Cambrian rock layers and providing valuable insight into ancient marine ecosystems. So the Cambrian explosion consists of starfish, worm, trilobite, sponge, first fish without jaws or fins, jellyfish, and seashells. An example of jawless fish such as ostracoderms, were primitive armored fish that lived during the Paleozoic era, around 450 to 400 million years ago. So, challenge yourself. Most primitive forms of organisms are single-celled organisms that live in the ocean. So why do you think they first conquered the ocean? So the ocean provided an ideal environment for the evolution of proliferation of primitive single-celled organisms for several reasons. First, the ocean offered a stable and relatively consistent habitat with consistent temperatures, nutrient availability, and pH levels compared to terrestrial environments, which may have been more variable additionally. Additionally, the vast expanses of ocean provided ample space for this organism to spread and diversity without encountering barriers to their movement. Moreover, the ocean served as rich source of nutrients, supporting the growth of reproduction of early organisms. That's all. Bye.